Influencer relationships are really fragile, and you got to make sure that you're handling them with care. I'm Jon Davids, and this is Ask Influicity. I've heard many examples of influencer programs going south. One example recently in the news was a headphone brand called Kanoa. This company raised a lot of money through crowdfunding, brought on influencers to promote their product, and then things went sour when they had an influencer do something that didn't look so good on camera. You can check it out. We'll put the link to the story below in the description. I'm going to talk now about a few things that you can do to make sure that your influencer relationships are strong and stay strong. The first thing you want to make sure of is that you're choosing your influencers with a rigorous selection process. 90% of the success of an influencer campaign will come in choosing the right influencers. And I recommend having a checklist. What's your criteria? The best brands in the world will say things like, they cannot have a criminal record. They cannot have used hate speech in their content. Now, this might seem obvious, but having it written down and having everybody in the organization sign off on it makes sure that you're never going to fall into those silly mistakes, because believe me, those mistakes will happen. The next thing you want to do is have a step-by-step troubleshooting system. So for example, what happens if the influencer submits their content to you and you don't like it? Well, you can send them comments, send them feedback, have them resubmit it. What happens if you don't like it again? What's step two? Well, maybe you get on a call with them, have a conversation, get their ideas. What if you still don't like the content? What's step number three? Well, I'll leave that to you, but make sure you have a troubleshooting system in place. The last thing you want is to have no time remaining, no budget left over, and a problem with the influencer's content. That's how you sour a relationship. Third piece of advice, do not put words in their mouth. This came down to the core problem of what Kanoa was facing. They were putting words in the mouth of an influencer, according to reports. When you ask an influencer to take part in your campaign, you want to make sure that they buy into the brand messaging to begin with. You don't want to force thoughts upon them. If they like your brand, they like your product, they want to take part, let them take it from there. Program management is a big piece of the pie when working with influencers that a lot of companies don't have down. Part of the problem is that no one really knows who owns the influencer process. Is it the brand marketing team? Is it the media buyers? Is it PR? Is it the social team? So no one really is there to take control of it. This is a big part of what Influicity does for our clients. We have program managers and strategists on our team that take full control of the influencer program. If you're not going to work with a company like Influicity, make sure you nail down your program management process. Who's going to be in charge of briefing, approvals, troubleshooting, contracts, payments? All these little things need to work like clockwork for an influencer campaign to go smoothly and for influencer relationships to be kept intact. The last thing to think about is contracts and agreements. It's really important to have a written contract in place even if you're not paying influencers, and hear me out on this. If I'm an influencer and I'm going to work with a brand, even if there's no exchange of money, I want to know what I'm getting into. If you send me a product, am I obligated to talk about it on camera? What if I don't like it? Do I have the option to not use it? In which case, do I have to send it back? These are all things you've got to think about, especially if you're paying them. Of course, at that point, you've got to have a contract. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in. Make sure to follow us at Influicity across all your favorite social media channels. Tweet your questions to #AskInfluicity, and check us out at Influicity.com. We'll see you next time.